Okay, cool. And then I can just share screen too. Okay. Does it say this? Yeah, it just sees people. Screen sharing. He left. Yeah. It'll be easier so you have to come back. Okay, where is the presenter? Okay, I'm good.
Sure.
Yeah. Should be good. I wish I could see this on there too.
Share that or share screen?
Share that.
Share that better?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
Works for me. All right, thank you. Right there. You don't want to. Move. How are you today?
I was going to ask you, are you going to ever make like CDs?
Oh, I don't know. I haven't thought about that. Of like what?
Like the words that we went through and stuff? Because some of us, we have to hear.
Over and over, right? I know. I don't know. We could look into it though. I have all the audio equipment. I did print them out correctly this time, hopefully. Did you get a handout?
I don't know. Mine was missing some stuff.
Oh, I know. You need one from last week too.
Did you get the first one yet?
No, but she needs them too, and I told her I'd print them off after we're done. It's supposed to go till 7, but we
Oh, it's supposed to go till 7?
usually, but I can't take that. I can't take that long, especially alone. You want this one?
Here in Lexington with the heating reaction and deal. I remember 1 year about.
Can everybody hear and see okay? Reagan isn't here today, so I'm gonna try to watch the Zoom as much as I can. Can anyone hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, thank you, Butch. Bonjour. How are y'all doing today? Good. I'm doing good too. Okay, so I'm glad to work in, but it's okay. I'm trying to wait on my mom. And so I'm gonna be chaotic tonight. Yeah. All right, so we want to start off with our prayer, we'll review, and then we'll start. You want to say it with me? How Mama Ghost on?
Give Stella one when he gets out.
Shigego God Destroyin.
I see Stella's eyes.
We Mon Mo Yago Mano Mano Bamadwan Mina Jit Moen.
You got 3 eggs?
So a wee Mon Mo Yago Mano Mano Bamadwan Mina Jit Moen.
I think he wants to be in the bowl.
Okay.
Oh, that was fast. Like as soon as I pushed the button, it changed. But it still captured what I wanted.
Warby, I don't think you're muted.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, you're fine. Okay, so we got our prayer in and now we're going to introduce ourselves. So what is your name? Anybody want to volunteer?
Miles Dineshnikov.
Jigway, Mendoza,
Owen Dodo.
Owen, Dover, Jigway, Owen Dover. Then what's next? I don't know.
Cornwall. Where you from?
Conowall.
In Notre Dame.
Beyond.
Where they want me now?
Bottle water being down, she's been on, she's been,
Shishi Bonnie,
Bonnie,
Nedvin Douglas.
Nick been dog race.
Anybody else? Gonna make your debut tonight? All right, so if I were introducing myself, I would say, Ojigwe Kwe Deshnekas, Jigwe Ododom, Conwa, Oklahoma, Dojpia, Odewad, Kwe and down, Shishi Bonnie, Nedvin Douglas. Anybody zoom in, want to introduce themselves? Just go ahead and jump in. Yeah.
No,
Lakota Joe P, you gonna introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'll introduce myself. Bonjour, Jai Quinoa, Manoido Kodendej Nakas, Mong Ondodam, Cleveland, Mina, Shawnee, and Dochbia, Mina, Gazigamaze, Mina, Kalamazoo, and Diane, Bodwai Wadmi and Dow, Shishibani, Aknanaban Dagwas.
Oh, be glad. Anyone else before we move on? No, okay. So I just put some vocabulary together for these, but we'll go ahead and review before we move on. It's a little short and sweet tonight, so Nijana, how are you?
Ah,
So we could say, use your Onway,
not gonna use you.
Onway Shishana.
Kawazejana.
So we could say that would be I am fine, Ija Onway, or Onway Shishana, I am fine. We could say Intuenmo Ayon. Intuenmo Ayon. I am happy to be here. We could say keep kosher going. I am sleepy today and keep kosher going.
Kikoshnagon.
We could say Nishkazeyon.
Nishkazeyan.
I am mad. And then once we say how we are, then we can ask Ginja and you. So Nijana, Ijanwe, Onwe Shishana, and keep koshin going. Good. Inchuemo Ayon. And Shkadzeyon.
Niskashayan.
Good. Ginja and you, Ginja.
Jinja.
Okay, so just a couple from last week. I left them blank, so maybe we can remember. That first one is Nijash B'Mazian. Nijash B'Mazian. Anyone remember?
Nija Ash Nabajian.
How are you living? So kind of like, how are you? Nijash B'Mazian. Manawabin, anybody remember that one? Yeah, good. Manawabin, good morning. Mano de Bucket,
No, to go.
Mano de Bucket. Good night.
So this is gonna
And
carry.
does anyone remember who Neen is? Neen. Neen is I, Geen is you, Quinoa is you all, Spaghetti was a little, and Ketcha was a lot. So Nija Esh, Bamazion. Or again, actually, but good, Manawabin,
Manawabin,
Mano Bucket. Neen, Geen, Quinoa, Spaghetti,
Bagaji,
Ketchup.
Ketchup,
Good.
Ketchup, Ketchup, Ketchup.
I keep looking at the door, I'm waiting for my 2-year-old to come in to disturb the peace. Okay, so a couple of questions or statements that we did last week. Wisnuin E Dopinik.
We still in.
Wisnuin E Dopinik.
We still in. E. Dopanet.
Good, students on the table. Wisnuin E Dopinik. And we got a couple questions. Gagash Kana Bagwed name. Gagash
Gosh,
Bagwed name. Good, are you thirsty? Gagash Kana Bagwed name. Does anyone want to answer that question? Good, yes, correct. Oh. So no, or you can just say as yes, but you could also say, in gosh, kana bagwene. I'm thirsty, and gosh, kana bagwene. Okay, or you could ask, when Nisha was on Diane,
Venetia, Wab,
was on Diane.
what?
Yeah, what are you cooking when Nisha was on Diane? Next one, Gabuktene. Gabuktene, are you hungry? One person. We were gonna ask multiple people, we would change it to Gabuktene. So we can do it one more time. We snowin E Dopinik. Gagash kana bagwene. Good. And so if we were thirsty, we could say, and gosh kana bagwe. And gosh kana bagwe, or we could just say cho no. Sometimes I ask my mom, like, anytime I ask her anything, it's always on my Shushna. So I asked her that yesterday. She was like, that's fine. Well, you just gotta ask her what's gonna fit, so that'll work. All right, with Nisha, with Jean Diane.
Venetia, Nashai Jayan,
Good, and Gabuktene.
Gabuktene,
Okay. So I put in some weather terms that we could go over. I feel like persons, places, or things, and then I don't know, I just added a couple of random ones. So Nisha Ngomzage, how is the weather? So it literally is how, Nisha, Ngom
Nisha.
today, Zage outside. So literally, it's like, how is it today outside? Nisha Ngomzage.
Nisha Nagom Zagets,
Good. So to answer, we could say Gashaktam get.
Gashate Maget,
Yeah, it's hot. It is hot. That get is the hot, and Gashate is the word for hot, but it only applies in this particular case. Like you can't talk about the stove and be like Gashaktam get. It's anything from the sun. So only when we're talking about how is the weather outside. We could say Kasinyam get.
Kasimian Get,
Cold, Gamoan.
Gamoan, Kamoan,
It's raining. We could say Gamogishkek.
Gamo Gishget,
It's a good day. We could say Niskodet,
Nis Kodet,
and it's stormy. then we could say Kiet nam na mano wa mina gwet zaget. So it's a really nice day outside. Kiet nam na mano
Kidnam nam no no mono.
wa mina gwet zaget.
Amen ana gets saget.
Gwet zaget. Good job, good we guess.
Saget.
Okay, so Nijangum Zaget. So what would we use today? Minogishgek if you would like, but I would say Geshatem gets hot outside. I'm over it. So Geshatem get, Istinyam get, Gamoen, Minogishgek, Niskada, Kietnam nam Mino Waminog Wet Zaget. Okay, so that was some weather terms. There's Creed come to disturb the peace. But he can say a couple words, so we'll let him stay. All right, so Ngoji was one of those words that we use in our frequent word list, like week 1 or 2, and it's just going to mean somewhere. Y'all could get a snack over there too. Drink.
A-I-N.
Ganache canal back wedding, Mom? Yeah. Yeah. See? Okay, so somewhere, we were just talking about a couple of different places, but I just went for right now, because we're keeping everything pretty just simple. So school, store, bake, restaurant. So if we look in the yellow, that's going to be talking about it, like talking about it. And then the second word is going to be whenever you're talking about it when you're actually there or going. So stone gamak. Stone gamak.
Go gamak.
There we would say stone gum gok.
Scum the muck.
And then store dawal gamak.
Dow wow the muck.
And dawal gum gok.
Dow wow dung boom.
And then bank, so literally just like money place, shonya gamok, or shonya gamak,
Shonya gamak.
shonya gum gok. Good. And then restaurant, literally like food place, we snow gamak,
We now gamak.
we snow gum gok. Yes. So scone gamak,
Gung gamak.
scone gum gok,
Gun gamak.
dawal gamak,
Dow wow the muck.
dawal gum gok.
Dow wow gum go. Gum go.
What that? Shonya gamak,
Shonya gamak.
shonya gum gok.
Shonya gum go.
We snow gamak,
We snow gamak.
we snow gum gok.
We snow gung go.
Okay, so some common phrases that we might say whenever talking about, place, people, places, things. Napija wech biayin.
The pizza wetch. Night jai.
Yeah, where did you come from? Napija wech biayin.
Again. Yen.
Good. Napija wa jiayin wabak.
The pizza
Wa jiayin wabak.
in Wabek.
So that is, where are you going tomorrow? So Napija is where.
Napija.
Wa would be that future tense. Gia, go. Yin, you, Wabak tomorrow. So with this one, Napija wa, Jia, yin, Wabak, we could also say Napija ga, Jia, yin, Nago. See how just switching a couple words changed it from where are you going tomorrow to where did you go yesterday? Yeah, I didn't write that, but And then the next one is Gadojitane.
Kanoj, Shetad,
Kadosh Ne.
Kanoj, Zatahe, nay,
Kadosh Ne. And this one is the same one like last week when we talked about Tamne. If you're gonna make it plural, you gotta go Tamne. Tamne. I mean, are you all ready? Gadot Mesne, are you busy? Gadot Mesne, are you busy?
Nagot Mes, nay,
Good, yeah, Gadoiga. So the next one, Gui, Wajay, Win, Nay,
Gui, Tomej,
Win, Nay.
Win,
Wajay, Win, Nay. Am I going with you?
Mm.
The next one,
When you say them, do you ask them kind of like a question, you know, with the questioning in your voice? Like,
yeah, like.
the
voice
way
and
would
question.
you name, you know? kinda-
Yeah, because that makes the question indicator. So yeah, I would. I mean, I do. Yeah, so the goat mess name, especially like how we are, because we want to like get across that we're asking somebody something. The next one is Nijapi Wa We Now You Go. When are we going to eat? Nijapi Wa We Now You Go.
we Japi, we snap.
Yeah, yeah, that's when all of us are gonna eat. Nijapi Wa We Now You Go. The next one, just that simple change from Nijapi to Napija.
Napija,
Yeah, Napija Wa We Now You Go. Where are we gonna eat?
Napija, we snap, Wago,
Yep, Napija Wa We Now You Go.
Napija, Wawisco,
Yeah, and then we have one of those W words, Nijapi or Napija, you know, what, where, who, when, all of those, so we don't need that nay on there. So if we run them through again, Napija Wetch Biayan.
Napija, Wetch, we in,
Yep, where do you come from? Napija Wetch Biayan. Napija Wajiayan Wabuk. Jiayan Wabuk, yeah. Where are you going tomorrow? Napija Wajiayan Wabuk. Gadojitane.
Ganoji, Tane,
Good, yeah, Gadojitane.
Ganoji, Tai,
Oh, yeah. Gadot Mesne. Are you busy? Gadot Mesne. Good. Gui, where's your way when name? Yep. Am I going with you? Gui, where's your way and name? Need to pee while we now you go. Need to pee while we now you go. When are we going to eat? And Napija while we now you go. Where are we going to eat? Okay, so now we got into Bamatzajak. So I just left it general. Oh, that's a video. General people. So Bamatzajak is people, plural people. Wait, I guess people would be the plural word. So the first word, quay,
Quack, quack,
woman, quick, women,
quick,
nene, man,
Nane,
Neenwick, men,
Neenwick,
Ikiago, little girl.
Get-
Ikiago, little girl.
Gijago,
Ikiabe, little boy.
Gijabe,
Kekiak, one elder. Kekiajuk, elders.
Keja, Keja, Jerk,
Kekiajuk. Pinoja,
Panoji,
Pinojay, children. Pinojayuk.
Pinojayuk.
Is one. And then Pinojayuk is children. Yeah, you add the EK on there, make it plural. And then Pinojes, the ES makes that word children, if you add that S on there, it makes it little. So it's the word for babies, but really it just makes that little children. So Pinojes and Pinojesuk.
Pinojasa,
Then we got Wie, someone,
Wie,
and Chowie, no one.
Chowie,
Chowie, no one. And then
Chowie.
Chimokmon,
Chumukman,
American, Chimokmonic, it would be plural.
Chumukman, Nick,
Yep. And something we may ask is Nisha Eshnikazo, Nisha Eshnikazo, what is her name?
Nija Eshtaka Zot,
Good, yeah. What is her name? Nisha Eshnikazo. What is his or her name, brother? And then we might ask, Wanisha O Yahweh, who is he or she? Wanisha O Yahweh.
Nijo Ozawaya,
Yep. And then just to answer, you would say the name and then Shinkazo. Max Shinkazo.
Max Jinkazo,
I don't know why I added Max because I literally don't know what name Max. Wanisha O Yahweh, who is that? Same thing. Yeah, and then you get Kidmane, you Kidmane. No, wait, you don't have to say the double G. So you could just say Kidmane.
Kidmanye,
Good, you know him or her. Yeah, so let's run through them. Quay, Quack,
Kwa, Kwe, Nima,
Nene, Ninwek,
Nimwek,
Gigyago, Gigyabe,
Gigago, Gibabe,
Kikya, Kikyajuk,
Kitja, Kitjayak,
Pinoje, Pinojayuk,
Pinoje, Pinojayak,
Pinojes, Pinojesuk,
Pinojasak,
Wee, Chowie,
Wie, Cho Wie,
Chimokman, Chimokmanuk,
Chumukman, Mon, Chumukmanok,
good, yep. Nijej, Nikazo,
Nija Esnakajna, Kajo, Kasot,
Winija, O Yahweh,
Winnie, Jo Wet Yet, What,
Max, Shinkazo,
Mit, Max, Hinkazo,
Gikidmane,
Inna, Jo Kaye,
yeah,
Way,
Gikidmane. Yeah,
Kinamane,
you don't have to make that 2G sound. It's just indicating it's like you, that you know him or her. And then next is just a list of different people. It's traditional roles in the community and the Potawatomi language. So this was already made. I just used it. So I'm going to play it. Maybe. Let me see if I can just jump over here. Oh, man.
Okay, traditional roles in the community. Ogama, Ogama, Chief Ogama, Nagani,
Nagani is a leader, Nagani. Naganja, Naganja, leaders, Naganja. Ogamak, Ogamak, chiefs, Ogamak. Gejaptani, Gejaptani, a warm weather or southern person. Gejaptani, another name for citizen Potawatomi. Shishibani, Shishibani, citizen Potawatomi, deaf people. This word, it comes from, heard two different stories about this word. One is that when the French Jesuits were converting our people early on, they used to put these cloths around folks' neck, like a red colored cloth, and it looked like a certain type of mallard duck or something like that. And that way that the priest would know that person that they're talking to, so they wouldn't have to waste any time with them. The other thing was that we were really good on the water, we were good at traversing the water. Shishibani, Shkodani, Shkodani.
Muskonani.
People to burn over a piece of ground. Shkode is prairie, Shkode. Shkode is just fire, Shkode, but Mishkode is that. burn over
Muskoda.
area because they used to burn
Muskoda.
back in the day, so Shkodani, a prairie band Potawatomi. Kasinyani, Kasinyani, a cold weather Potawatomi. Kasinyani. Kishko, Kishko or Kishko is the firstborn child, Kishko or Kishko. And the color associated with blue is first, blue is associated with first, third, fifth, and seventh born. And then Shkesh, Shkesh for second born, Shkesh. And that was red, Shkesh. Shkokionane, Shkokionane is a medicine man, Shkokionane. Powagindane, Powagindane, pipe carrier, Powagindane. Shkabewas is a helper or assistant for different ceremonies. Shkabewas. Deweget is a drummer. Dewegeja for drummers. Nechdeweget is a hand drummer. Nechdewegeja, hand drummers. Nechdewegeja. Shemaganashi is a soldier. It actually refers to the long saber and the old style of flint muskets. That's Shemaganashi. Ogichida is a warrior. Ogichida. Menzabe means a great warrior. Menzabe. That's it for traditional roles in the community. Yo.
This powerful $99 drone is now available in the US. This is an extremely high-tech $5,000 drone. It was developed so that Navy SEALs could do stealth missions.
Okay. Okay. All right, so things, so I just picked some random ones that we might use. Biwakos phone, Biwakos. Good, and then, so we might ask Napesia Etolian, Ni Biwakos. Napesia Etolian, Ni Biwakos. Where did you put my phone? And then the next one, Wabno Talk Chicken. Wabno Talk Chicken, TV. I've never used that second, but it's not his northern word for TV, movie, computer screen. But you could say, I'll say the known Wabno Talk Chicken. Turn the TV off. I'll say the known Wabno Talk Chicken. Turn off the TV. Yeah. Next word, Calzone Cocos, computer. Calzone Cocos, computer. Yep, we might add Shke Calzone Cocos name. Is that a new computer? Next word, Mazinigan, which is all listed. It's either a book, a card, a letter, a newspaper, a document, just a paper. Mazinigan.
Mazinigan.
Next word, shkamo. Shkamo, bag. So could be like a purse, any type of bag. Shkamo. Next one, debate gizwan. Debate gizwan, clock. So you could say, Nukshe debate gizwan, look at the clock. Debate gizwan, yep. So Biwab Coast, that's an easy word for us to start using. That was all of my vocab that I had. I got lipstick all over this mark. So then one of the 7 grandfather teachings that I chose this week was Debwe Wen, truth. Debwe Wen, truth. So I stole this off the Nottawasepi Huron Band website. This is their definition. Truth is having knowledge of our cultural teachings. It gives us the ability to act without regret. We must understand, speak, and feel the truth while also honoring its power. Truth should not be lead us to deceptions. We know who we are in our heart. By knowing that, we also know the truth. Our emotional, physical, mental, and spiritual gifts will guide each one of us in our journey. So I liked that. And then before we talk about it, I picked this video for us to share as our cultural teaching for today. So then we'll talk about it afterwards.
Good.
Michelle,
You'll get it, Lord.
are you doing anything this evening?
What you got for mine, Elizabeth?
I don't know. Maybe we can watch a movie.
Well, I do have this movie about the Trail of Death.
Whoa, cool.
Get up, Louie. Get up.
I made us some popcorn for the show.
Be quick, so the cop cow story up there.
No problem, Dad.
I only had this movie on old reel reel.
Ojibwa co-op jigewa tedo kazi. Mino dawa co-op jigewa dawa. Inagode wati co-op jigewa jugewa shkole. Shkodansi yeshna kazi. Om se ishten jaya kamajishtawan. Gode wati yebodwe na shkole. Isanam nekwash na ita te. Jaya Krishna. But again, there, got so caught. Potawatomi villages set around a communal birch bark longhouse and several family longhouses, as well as wigwams. They grew corn, beans, and squash, and gathered wild rice, nuts, fruits, and berries. They gathered maple sap from sugar maple and black sugar maple. They also hunted deer, bear, and buffalo, and were well known for their skill at making birch bark canoes, which they used to travel all of Lake Michigan and its tributaries. In those waters, they caught an abundance of fish and waterfowl. The Potawatomi were organized into a system of bands and clans, a patrilineal society in which children belonged to the same clan as their father. They had migrated from southern Michigan with the eruption of the Beaver Wars in the 1640s, and well-established Potawatomi villages were scattered throughout the Great Lakes region in the early 17th century, when French explorer Jean Nicolet landed on the shores of Green Bay, Wisconsin, and documented the first account of European contact. At the height of the fur trading era,
Bro,
among the French along the St. Lawrence River, who had established fur trading relations. European contact quickly ushered in sickness and war, and an insatiable appetite for Indian lands led to a chain of events that would change forever the lives of the Potawatomi. By the early 1800s, the lives of many Potawatomi and French Canadian fur traders had become intertwined, defining the beginning of an era in which the blood of both coursed through the veins of an expanding generation that would use their education, linguistic skills, and their ability to move freely between both worlds. These Potawatomi would navigate the turbulent waters of a tidal wave of Western expansion that would ultimately carry the Potawatomi far away from their home. Abel C. Pepper, superintendent, and other immigration officials held a council at Menominee's Reserve July 17 and 18. Pepper warned that their refusal to remove would be a clear violation of the treaty obligation entered into with the president and would oblige the use of force against them.
Members of the council, the president does not know the truth. He, like me, has been imposed upon. He does not know that your treaty is a lie and that I never signed it. He does not know that you made my young chief drunk and got their consent and pretended to get mine. He does not know that I have refused to sell my lands and still refuse. He would not by force drive me from my home, the graves of my tribe and my children who have gone to the Great Spirit, nor allow you to tell me your graves will take me, hide like a dog, if you knew the truth. My brothers, the president is just, but he listens to the word of the young chiefs who have lied. And when he knows the truth, he will leave me in my home. I have not sold my lands. I will not sell them. I have not signed any treaty and will not sign it.
On August 5th, Pepper held a council with the Potawatomi. Soon after, settlers began pouring into the reserve, claiming preemption rights. They settled on almost every quarter section on which the Potawatomi still lived. Trouble arose. Immigration officials sent for former Indian agent John Tipton helped persuade the Potawatomi to leave. Tipton attended a council near Plymouth, but was unsuccessful in breaking down the chief's opposition.
Every officer and soldier will do his duty promptly and diligently. No violence will be offered to the deluded Potawatomis unless they resort to open hostilities, shed blood. We must compel them to proper observance of the treaties they have entered into with the United States to protect our citizens from difficulty with Indians peaceably, if we can, forcibly, we must.
They were completely shocked and surprised when the militia rushed in and surrounded them. They were held prisoners, not allowed to leave or separate. The next day, another council was held. Menominee, Black Wolf, or Bookadit, Penowa, Bill declined removing the chiefs and one other, Pawtucket, were imprisoned in the chapel. On August 27, 1838, Governor David Wallace appointed Tipton to organize a volunteer company to remove the Potawatomi Indians from Indiana to land in Kansas. Tipton had obtained the appointment of William Polk as the federal conductor.
Made it known to the militia of Cass and Miami counties. Volunteers would be accepted and directed to march by squads and route to this place. I shall proceed north at 2 o'clock tomorrow morning. Organize and execute your orders with as little delay as possible.
General Tipton sent a letter to Father Pettit in South Bend dated September 2nd, asking him to help persuade the dissentients to remove peacefully. He again promised that the government would pay for the expenses of the emigration, give each Potawatomi a half section of land, and provide for their support for 1 year. He also promised to recommend to the president that funds be provided for a chapel and house for pay and any other priests.
I am under the dependence of my bishop and at his disposal, as much as at least as any soldier of your troops is at your disposal. I received a full denial of my request. I must not think any more of Gulf West.
Tipton continued as quickly as possible in gathering and imprisoning all the Indians he could find in the area. His soldiers gathered over 700 by the evening of September 2nd. By the morning of September 4th, the militia had rounded up well over 800 Potawatomi in the area. They marched a distance of 21 miles on their first day to the village of Chipaway on the Tippecanoe River, which they reached by sunset. At the conclusion of the second day's journey, 9 miles traveled, the Potawatomi reached Mud Creek in Fulton County. Water was scarce. The first death occurred. A baby died. By the time they reached Fulton Court on the afternoon of the 6th, the caravan had traveled 17 miles. They were forced to camp for 2 days in order to procure wagons. They stayed there for 3 days. When they left Logansport on September 10th, they left 54 sick behind. Several died and were buried there. The caravan moved along the north side of the Wabash River, passing through present-day Pittsburgh, Battle Ground, Lafayette, and Williamsport, with 2 or more deaths occurring nearly every day. The procession, according to the Delphi Oracle, September 15, 1838, was nearly 3 miles long.
Our trip is a harsh experience. We had much sickness. 2 of the Indians were buried today.
We soon found ourselves on the green prairies of Illinois, under a burning sun without shade from one camp to another. Not a drop of water could be found. It was veritable torture for our poor seed, some of whom are dying each day from weakness and fatigue.
On Sunday, November 4th, 2 hours were spent for worship at the Old Town Encampment, now very close to their new homes. By 2 p.m., they crossed the Osage River, where the Indians were met, welcomed by many of their friends. At half after 3, reached Potawatomi Creek, Osawatomie, Kansas, the end of the destination. Distance traveled today, 20 miles. 859
Potawatomi Indians were rounded up and forced to walk a 2-month journey of 660 miles across 3 states and to a fort. More than 40 died, mostly children, of typhoid fever and the stress of the forced removal. Their young priest, who so tenderly cared for them, also became very ill and died on February 10th.
Yeah. Okay.
756 Potawatomi Indians arrived in Kansas. However, some did manage to escape along the way. Upon arrival, there were no cabins as the government had promised, but the Potawatomi persevered. The Potawatomi of the Wabash, the Mission Potawatomi, settled between the north and south forks of the Big Sugar Creek in southeastern Kansas. Although it would take years, the Potawatomi would adjust to their environment and begin again to reestablish themselves. They built their homes and their church and planted their crops. In 1846, after much pressure from the government and those surrounding, the Potawatomi signed a treaty agreeing to move to a 30 square mile reservation in North Kansas near Topeka. With the passage of the Kansas-Nebraska Act in 1854, it became clear that American expansion would continue westward despite treaty agreements. The rush of settlers into the area partially erased the borders of Indian reserves. In just 6 years after the organization of the territory, over 100,000 Americans entered the lands west of the Missouri state line.
Because they're all
Much of the allotted land quickly passed the Potawatomi Atlantees into the hands of white settlers, traders, land companies, and railroads, creating huge losses. In addition to allotments assigned with the 1861 treaty, the Mission Band Potawatomi also took U.S. citizenship and became the Citizen Band of Potawatomi. In 1867, the Citizen Band signed the final treaty agreeing to move south to Indian Territory, now known as Oklahoma. Potawatomi families moved at their own expense to Indian Territory, traveling separately as individual families and some in groups. Finally, establishing their homes around the Canadian River in what is now known as Potawatomi County, Shawnee, Oklahoma. The Citizen Potawatomi Nation continues to grow at a historical pace. We have and we will continue to persevere.
That's crazy how our people got rounded up and forced to move.
Yeah, our word for a white person was Chimokpan, which means long time. Because a lot of our early contact was either with priests or soldiers. The soldiers would have a saber on their rifles. There's several different occasions where our people got rounded up and forced to move.
I thought the treaty was signed protected our rights.
Yeah, they should have, but the government never honored those treaties. They kept wanting more of our land and kept pushing us further away from our home.
How many treaties did we sign, Grandpa?
Over 40 treaties with the U.S., a couple with France, and a couple with England. We were the most treaty tribe in U.S. history.
The government broke all those? They don't talk about that in school.
Yeah, that we, the only promise they kept was they promised to take our land, and they did. Well, it's getting late, Marie. You got school tomorrow.
You want me to help you clean up, Michelle?
Good question, Marie. I got this now.
I'm gonna read it, Michelle.
I'm on the end, Marie. Get them on.
Hit the bonnet.
It's a good film.
Yeah, that's that Pemazawan, the Journey DVD. That Ruby's in it, but you could like buy it in the gift shop, but that's it. They made it here, so that's pretty cool.
There are a lot of one in. That's right on the.
These are actually good, Michelle. Are we doing?
Yeah. Okay, so that was the last slide of our PowerPoint. Now, what we've done every time, which we haven't really went into a lot of it, is if you have something that you want to say, definitely feel free to say. I chose to associate the Trail of Death and Deb Whalen with the Trail of Death with truth, because if you're like me, I don't really talk about this a lot. When I know about it, I went through the museum, which if you go, it's like a timeline of, events that have happened. But it's not ever something, I didn't grow up talking about it. And we don't sit around and, remember it, but a couple of things that was told to me that I would like to share whenever I went through it with Kelly Mosteller was, she just made a couple of big points to me, which I'll always remember and I'll always think about whenever I'm thinking about this. But one big point that she made to me was like, to think about the suffering and think about how moving from the Great Lakes with all of the resources that you have there, one, everything, just geography is so different. The lakes provide so much in itself, fishing, all of that, medicine stuff grows so much. There's more nutrient up there. So you go from that growing and you being exposed to that, and then you're walking through the heat in the middle of September down to Kansas, which is flat, hot, nothing's growing, nothing has life, like you had just left. Another point that she had made to me was about whenever it talked about all the children dying, he was just like, picture yourself and you're walking and your children, you're getting sick, you're dying, you're losing your kids, but you don't have time to stop and strike a fire for 4 days and have a 4-day ceremony. You're gonna have to continue to leave. So what's all the trauma that you're carrying with you that's carried on and on and on into generations of your family because of what you endured moving on the Trail of Death? So those are just 2 points that I would like to share. Does anyone want to share anything, any input, any thoughts about it? Online, maybe?
Well, it is a sad situation, and a lot of people don't know. They don't. Even our native people sometimes don't understand. It's never been taught. And just like treaty after treaty's been broken, and they've never admitted to it. It's not taught in the history books, and I think that's a sad thing too. I'm not one of them that says, well, they owe us, but I want them to say what happened. I want the whole, everybody to know.
Yeah, the whole truth to be lived out. Exactly. That's my point. I think we did. But that's something that don't happen. And then a lot of people, have all the land back, or like, was it today that the Prairie Band Potawatomi settled a $10 million lawsuit with the government about buying a piece of land in that. So there are people that are proactive and everything with that. Yes, Warby, I will. But anyone else on Zoom want to have any input in a discussion about this today? Before we wrap up, we're close to wrapping up. Yeah, and the class, everyone online or everyone in person said miigwech for being here, and we enjoy y'all's input and feedback. And then you said hi back, Lakota.
I know. Well, I was gonna say something, but I saw Nicole had her hand up. Nicole, were you gonna say something?
Oh yeah, Nicole, go ahead, please.
Oh, Bozo, everybody. I just want to say that I had a conversation with my daughter's teacher yesterday. I was looking through her history book, and the way that just, the history of Native people was so just offensive, in terms of discussing, Native religion negatively, to talking about the fact that Native people just kind of gradually went west. And, I talked to her teacher and said to her, can we talk about the 1830 Removal Act and the fact that people didn't just float west, that they were forcibly removed. And so, and just in talking with her teacher, she was like, this is an issue. I'm gonna talk to the principal and the curriculum committee about this. And so it was tough because we're a new family at a new school, but I just couldn't let it rest. I couldn't just let it go. And so I don't know what'll come of it, but I just being in this space and, learning the history and speaking out, can make a difference. Because she said, you're the only parent that has looked through the book and has checked the bibliography and is questioning the sources. So I just wanted to say that, and just, thank you all for just holding this space and helping us to find the courage to speak out.
White folk.
Miigwech.
For having the courage.
Yeah, Chi miigwech for sharing as well. Thank you. That's awesome, really. That's not something that I've ever thought about doing. So yeah, awesome, miigwech. Go ahead, Lakota.
Yeah, as a past teacher, it's always great to hear parents who go through and kind of request those things and request that those stories are taught as well, because it also, as a teacher, gives you kind of the footing and the foundation to also kind of push where others may not want to hear those histories. But I was just going to say too, I really appreciated, we're coming up on kind of the anniversary of September 4th and 5th. And so, I count myself lucky in a lot of ways where my family did talk about the Trail of Death. It was a story, it was a history that was passed on in my family from generation to generation. My grandpa grew up with his great grandma who was on the Trail of Death. And so he heard those stories directly from her, and he would tell those to us when we were little. And we actually grew up in Cleveland, Ohio. And so we kind of grew up in the Great Lakes and had to return back to Kansas and Oklahoma to visit family. And so it was just, now I live back in the Great Lakes. I live up in Michigan. And so, it's something that hopefully we can start to talk about more. I don't know how we talk about it, but I think it and the way that it kind of expresses that truth, I think it also brings for those relatives that did walk on and who did suffer during it, it acknowledges what they went through, and then subsequent generations, what we've all gone through. And so I think it is really important, and I'm glad to see that we're talking about it more. Miigwech.
Yeah, miigwech. Lakota. Yeah, so miigwech, thank you so much. Does anyone else want to share or have anything to say before we wrap up today? No, okay. Well, miigwech, Nicole, and miigwech, Lakota, we're thankful that you shared, and we're glad to hear from you guys. So we're week 4, so we got 3 more weeks. If y'all want to book your tickets to come play bingo on the last week, just book them up. But we're gonna go ahead and shut the Zoom off. Creed's gonna say, Mama P.
Mama, please.
Get the
Mama P.
Mommy, get the button.
Get the button. Good job. Good Rodriguez. All right, miigwech, y'all. Thank y'all.
Which,
And they can see us.
Yeah, they can see y'all. Not me though.
Hey, Dad, come here. I thought can't talk, they do.
Yeah, you gonna say something again? What are you gonna say?
What did you say? But, I did.
Good job.
I
Say
did.
Creed and Deshnikos.
You did. You say it.
I already said it.
You want to say it?
Yeah, I don't know how to leave. Okay, here we go.
It's coming in. Come talk to us. It's doing it. Come talk to us.